I'm sure you've heard the news. Pollinating insects are in decline due to habitat loss and too many of us. But there's many things you can do in your garden. Gardens make up a massive part of the UK space. Lots and lots of things you can do to help those pollinating insects. And I'm going to run through some of the things that you can do very easily and very simply to give them a chance. So what is a pollinator? It's a creature that moves from one flower to another, transferring the pollen, fertilizing the flower and leading to seed production, flower production and fruit production. Around the world, there are many types of pollinators, including birds and mammals, but here in the UK, it's mainly down to insects, things like honeybees, bumblebees, wasps and lacewings, and they buzz about doing the thing they need to do and basically keeping us all alive. If you really want to get those pollinators into your garden, you need to feed them. Grow plants that are really high in nectar. They love nectar. It's great for the insects. It will bring all those different types of insects in. And while they're actually eating that nectar at the same time, they're going to carry out that process of pollination. So what sort of flowers should I plant in my garden? Colourful flowers are really good. Insects are attracted to those different colours, and sometimes they see colours in a way that we don't, that leads them to that pollen and that nectar, and therefore to pollinate the plants. Single flowers are much better than double flowers, much more easy for those pollinating insects to access. Different flower structures at different heights help as well, because they're going to attract a different range of pollinating insects to come in different parts of the garden and do what they need to do. And check for things like the RHS yellow sticker that actually indicates plants that are really good for pollinators. That way you know you're going to buy just the right ones that are going to bring them in, keep them happy and keep them buzzing around your garden and really enjoy being in your outdoor space. Groups of plants are really good. If you can plant large groups of plants, especially plants with daisy-like flowers or flat heads of flowers rather than individual flowers, again, that will attract the pollinating insects from a long way away. They're really going to see those big groups of flowers. They're going to congregate and you're going to get a lot of them in one space, which is really good. And think about plants that flower for a long flowering season. Again, just giving those insects that nectar, that pollen, over a long period of time. And even during the winter, think about winter flowering plants to give nectar and pollen during the colder, darker times of year. Because on milder days, those pollinating insects still might venture out, even at those times of year when you think possibly they may not. And create insect shelters during the winter, places where they can hibernate, places where they can shelter and just keep safe away from the frost and the cold and the snow. And then when the warm weather warms up, they can come back out and do what they need to do the following year. So if you just follow some of those rules, and there's some other things you can do as well, you're going to drastically increase the chances for those pollinating insects to do so well in your garden and just do what they so seriously need and want to do. Let's talk about a few plants that bees love to pollinate. And right in front of me now, I've got this type of lobelia with tubular flowers, and there's bees buzzing around it as I'm speaking, and they're getting down into the flowers here. Oh, and they've just flown onto a little anemone at the back there as well. You can see the lovely pollen and the nectar on those flowers there. So flowers like that are attracting them very well. And just moving across, I've also got something called agastache, and the bees, in fact, there's one bee right there right now, just buzzing away on there. I can see the big collection of pollen on the back there. There's another one there. So they're loving those kind of tubular flowers that attract them in, and the daisy-like flowers as well, as you saw on the anemone there. So plant those kind of flowers for bees and you'll really keep your bees super happy. This plant's finished flowering now, but this is monarda or bee balm. Gorgeous flower, really fragrant foliage. And I tell you what, a few weeks ago, the bees were going berserk for this. In fact, if I had to choose a #1 plant for pollinators in the garden, I would definitely say grow monarda. You can just see the last few flowers left on some of these, but when they were smothered in these flowers, the bees were over this plant, dozens and dozens at a time. Incredible. Something as simple as this little bee hotel can help bees survive through the winter, especially those solitary bees. Hang it up somewhere bright and sunny, south-facing, nice and sheltered, and that way you'll give these little critters the optimum chance to survive all the way through to next spring, when they can come out again and pollinate all those gorgeous spring flowers. I grow lythrum in my garden. beautiful, beautiful pink flowered plant. Grows wild in the UK as well. This one is loved by the butterflies. So if you want to grow a plant for the pollinating butterflies, Lythrum again would be in my top 5 selection. Easy to grow, likes a nice moist soil, and it flowers for a long, long period of time. What as a kid I used to call ice plant, or what we now call sedum. It's another really, really good one, late summer into early autumn, that the butterflies adore. Once these flowers come out in a few days' time, I'm absolutely convinced, especially after the nice warm summer we've had, I'm going to see loads of butterflies pollinating this, collecting the pollen and drinking that really, really sweet nectar. Verbena bonariensis is great for bees and butterflies. Really easy to grow. It grows like weeds basically. It will seed about, flowers for a long, long time, and has masses of these flat flower heads with individual flowers that they really love to land on. And again, they're looking for the nectar, they're transferring the pollen, and they're carrying out that vital process of pollination. And don't forget, buddleia is brilliant for butterflies and bees as well. Well, in fact, it's called the butterfly bush. We've been talking about pollinators you see during the daytime, but there's those that come out at night, such as moths, and quite often they're attracted to plants that are very scented at night. Things like star jasmine, lily, honeysuckle, night scented stock, all those kind of plants. So if you grow those, then you can encourage the pollinators nocturnally as well as during the daytime. That way you're getting 24-hour pollinators in your garden carrying out that fantastic work, setting those seeds, leading to fruit and flower and vegetable production, and just creating a more happy world for the insects and for us in our gardens. Other really important things you can do to help those pollinators are avoid using pesticides. Make sure there's a little source of water, even if it's just a bowl of water, that's absolutely fantastic for them. And also just leave a patch of wildflowers or leave an area to go wild, because wildflowers are also fabulous for pollinators. Really hope you've enjoyed our tips for pollinators. They're so critical. It's critical for them and they're critical to us as well, because they pollinate our flowers, they create seeds, they create flowers, they create fruit, they create vegetables, which is, essential for all of us. And the more flowers, the more colour you plant, the more insects you'll bring in, the more pollinators you'll bring in, and in the long run it benefits them and it benefits us. Happy gardening.